Welcome back once again. Today I'm going to be reacting to Lady Maria of the Astral Clocktower from Bloodborne. For the very first time, let's get into it. Welcome back once again. I am so glad that you are here. This is Right Man in the Wrong Place. My name is Luke Tatum. I react to music, and we got something juicy to check out today. I'm finally getting back to the Bloodborne original soundtrack. The last time I listened to a song from this, it was Ludwig, the Accursed and Holy Blade, and that was the 25th reaction on this channel. This one is going to be number 171. So it's been a little bit. It was probably like January when I did that song. So, life. Sorry about that. Bloodborne original soundtrack, 2015 is when that came out. So Lady Maria of the Astral Clocktower. I have several composer names listed for this game. I'm not sure who the primary person is. It's what I have is Ryan Amon, Tsukasa Saito, Yuka Kitamura, Nobuyushi Suzuki, Chris Velasco, and Michael Wandmacher. So it looks like a multinational, multicultural soundtrack. I remember Yuka Kitamura's name, and I can't remember where from, but that's the only one that I'm super recognizing right now. This was requested by several people. It's not a paid request. It's just something I saw come up in the comments a few times. This has literally been on my list for months and months and months. Because when I did the other song, which I appreciate everyone who told me, like, wow, oh my gosh, you figured out everything going on in the game from the music. And that's cool. I'm glad I pulled that off, but I really don't know anything about this game. I know even less about Bloodborne than I do about Dark Souls, and I don't know anything about Dark Souls. So, yeah, let's listen to some good music. I am confident. I remember how good that other song is, so I am confident this is going to be awesome. And I've been wanting to hear it for months and months and months. So let's do it. Bloodborne, Lady Maria of the Astral Clocktower. It's time. Okay. So very horror, very dark, very intense. That clock tower tone, the bell tone, is, I'm not sure if it's modulated in some way, but it has this kind of twisted nature to it. It does not sound just like a clean bell sound to me. It sounds like it's got some kind of effect over it. It sounds very, very intimidating. I'm going to back it all the way up to the beginning. The strings and everything is just, there's a lot going on. And I guess the bell, it's like there's more than one bell, right? It's either the striker, the beater is rattling inside of the bell, or you've got more than one, probably some smaller bells. They all kind of have this effect to them. Very fast strings playing, violins, and it's setting up something. I assume this is a boss fight. So now you have this lead string that's coming in. Kind of a counterpoint here. Okay, so you have a more bassy string. I'm not that great at musical terminology, okay, so just bear with me. But you've got a lower pitched string instrument. You've got a slightly higher pitched string instrument. And it's not quite a, let one play and then let the other play. There's a little bit of bleed over into them, almost like they're competing with one another. So that's interesting. They're it's a duel of the banjos type thing, but not quite, right? Because it's not one is done and the other takes over. It's almost a competition in the musical sense, not in the sense of like the story. And that makes me think that perhaps there's more than one big decision maker, at this part of the storyline, perhaps. There's more than one entity competing for control of the clock tower. There's more than one entity competing for control of the mind of Lady Maria, perhaps. I don't know who that is. Maybe she's a relatively minor character. I don't know. I assume she's the boss you're fighting here, though. It's very sad. Really interesting. Okay, there's this little bit where you have, and this is going to take a while to get through, it sounds like, but you have this offbeat kind of horn type sound, the ha ha, kind of coming in at slightly disjointed times, and so it's kind of this uncomfortable kind of like this trepidation for that instrument emerging into the song. And so again, a lot of competing forces, a lot of different energy here. I catch this one more time. And then it's resolving. It's becoming more organized. The bell. Nice decelerando. Ooh. Okay, so that deceleration kind of slow the track down, a retardando, and it's a quick deceleration. It's not that's not a multiple measures long. It's a very quick deceleration. It's a sudden change, and then I was completely caught off guard with the huge choir that came in, and that's very like Requiem, Mozart's Requiem, uh, very funeral dirge, funeral, kind of a sending off of the deceased, kind of a moment there. That's what I hear. I mean, beautiful, very powerful, very intense. It's the loss of someone extremely important or that is strongly felt by people who are still alive, if you will. I'll back it up a bit. Oh. It was like almost a major moment there, and then it kind of darkened again almost immediately. That was interesting. And then it's back to dark. A lot of tension. I was waiting to pause for there to be some kind of resolution. It's a very, very long, dissonant, heavily disagreeing section. It felt like maybe there was more than one key being used at the same time. Really, really, I mean, the point of that is to make you uncomfortable as a listener, and it's extremely effective. Um, Now, if you watch all my videos, I know there's got to be somebody out there that watches like all the different stuff that I react to, not just the video game stuff. There are a couple of songs I've reacted to that I did not enjoy hearing. They made me uncomfortable, but it wasn't like the musicality wasn't there. There's a lot of really informed musical compositional reasons why this is probably appropriate. I can't decide if it's if it's just to create that stress, just to give you some kind of resolution, because we didn't get a real strong resolution. It didn't go major at the end of that. Of course, I haven't heard what's next, but it seems like maybe there's just so much conflict between these competing ideas, competing individuals for, what ideology is going to take hold here or survive, what, you know, what what person, what force is going to maintain control of like this place or this thing, whatever it is, whatever goes on in Bloodborne. It's really, really, really intense right there. So back it up a little. I want to catch this kind of resolution or this change into the next section. It feels like maybe we're dying down here. It's so loud. It's a little buried. I'm sorry to pause again. It's a little buried, but there's this dun 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 kind of a line down there. I can't even tell what instrument it is because there's so much choir happening, which is fine. I like it. But there's times like these where I really wish I knew a little bit more music theory type stuff because I feel like there's another key change and like unexpected key change. It's just the piece sort of resolves into some unexpected places at the end of some of these phrases. And yeah, I mean, it's just like, how could you possibly relax while fighting this boss, while playing this part of the game? It's, and I'm sure it's very difficult. So that doesn't help either. But I mean, it's almost like there's like a track in Persona 3 that's super, super weird to listen to. And it's like it creates a lot of tension. It's like you want to win because of how intensely like I don't want to say evil, but how intensely like wrong the situation feels. You want to get out of it. You don't want to be in this situation any longer. Not because it's a hard video game fight, but because it's loaded with tension, situationally speaking. A very, very, very good composition. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's worth a lot of analysis, you know? Ugh, I didn't expect that, but I also don't know how the song was going to end other than that. Haunting single bell note. It doesn't have that jangle of, other bells kind of striking behind it or anything. It's a very, all that chaos, all of that, competing sections of the choir, competing instruments, all of that struggle, all of that strife, all of that. And it just ends with a funeral toll, a bell toll. I'm taking that to mean a funeral bell. It doesn't necessarily mean that, right? We're talking about a clock tower that strikes at a particular time or at different particular times of the day. But it's also a strong association with a funeral. And I did definitely hear some, Requiem, Mozart energy in there and at a couple of points in time. And so to have it all in on a single bell toll to me it's all resolving as the finality of death. I don't know whose death it is. Maybe that means you won the fight, but it's a melancholy moment. Maybe it's because you lose all the time when you fight against this boss because it's the hardest boss in the game. I don't know. I think the hardest boss in like Elden Ring is supposed to be Melania or something like that. So I know, just a couple of little pieces of stuff that float around. I don't even, that's probably not even really her name, but I do have some very vague awareness of Dark Souls, Elden Ring. I have no awareness of Bloodborne except what y'all have told me in comments on the last reaction. And guess what? It's been a long time, so I probably forgot all of that. So yeah, I remember really, really loving that Accursed and Holy Blade track. And I really love this one too. It's unbelievable to me that, orchestral and choral pieces like this of such intense quality are just out there. People aren't talking about them. It blows my mind. I love Yasunori Mitsuda and the Xenoblade games and all the soundtrack in there. And there's some really intensely high quality stuff in there. The Atlas team behind Persona, some really, really intensely good stuff in there. And there's some other really, really, really good music out there in video games. Some of the newer Zelda games have had just phenomenal orchestral tracks. The Super Mario Galaxy soundtrack is amazing. They're different. It's not this, but it's extremely high quality. It's extremely well composed. This is as good as anything I would ever hear in a concert hall from any century. You know, amazing, amazingly good. So thank you very much for putting this on my radar. Um, Everyone who did that. I do not have a list of usernames. Like I say, I've been copying and pasting this thing from list to list for a long time. I don't know who it was, but everyone who put this on my radar, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It was amazing. And I need to listen to more Bloodborne. Hopefully it won't be like 8 months or 9 months or whatever. before I listen to another song from this soundtrack because it's phenomenal. Um, Tell me which one I should hear next. Till next time. Wait, wait, wait. If you want to support the channel, you can find the link below my face. Buy me a coffee is the way to do that. My paragraph blog is down there. Other stuff is down there. Follow me on socials, but do YouTube things if you like this video. If you want to support the channel, buy me a coffee. Individual donations are there. So are memberships. Members get all kinds of cool perks. All right. Now that that's out of the way, until next time, the right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world.